I had meant to do this the other day when this story came about, and I had got a notification on my phone. And this is one of these stories that never got mentioned. But I was watching Taurine Rain's video on this too, and I said, let me give a little bit more insight on them. Now, the picture of the young lady that you see here happens to be Kendra Shanice Reid. She's one of the unmentioned young princesses that we had, that she was found hanged from a tree in a public park in Lexington, North Carolina. You know, now as you can see from this is from her Instagram page, and it's being shared all throughout social media. Now there, the police department has ruled it a suicide, and the reason why they're doing that is obviously because of this. No thorough investigations being done. So see, this is how these crackers get out here, and they how they get down like this, because they're not going to report it. This the same thing that they did to Kendra Johnson down in Valdosta, Georgia, saying that he climbed in a rolled up mat to get his gym shoes, which is so much further from the truth. Which is so much true for the truth. But you know what? North Carolina is like no different than it is in my home territory of Florida. When it comes down to the stuff like this. And and before I even get started and go in on this, first I just want to give a shout out to love to all my peoples there in North Carolina, preferably like in the Queen City of Charlotte, as well as Raleigh, Winston-Salem, Fayetteville, and so on and so forth, because North Carolina, you know, it is a beautiful state. It's the TarHeel State, and also this is where the Bible Belt begins and the Bible Belt ends. So, you know, it's also the borderline for the so-called Mason-Dixie line. But this right here really boils my blood, because see, first of all, like this. Now you take a look at this young lady here. Do she look like the type that's depressed, like she'll go here to commit suicide? Hell, fuck no. I mean, these crackers must think that we that damn stupid, and we're gonna go ahead and buy into this bullshit that this young lady killed herself, and she gonna actually go ahead and put a damn noose up somewhere and just gonna hang herself in a public park. Now, is this the same thing that happened to the young brother from out of Bladenboro, North Carolina, that happens to be Lennon Lacy? You know. Let me see something. I'm gonna see if I could bring up the map of North Carolina. Let me just do something real quick here. Let me just do something real quick. This is North Carolina right here. Winston-Salem's right there. You know what I'm saying? You're not too far from Charlotte. Let me show you where Bladenboro at. That's Bladenboro. That's Bladenboro, North Carolina. Here is Lexington. Also, shout out to my peoples in Greensboro as well. Lexington is not too far from Charlotte, and you're a few miles out from Winston-Salem. There's Bladenboro right there. Winston-Salem here. Then you got Charlotte here. You know, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Durham. You know what I'm saying? There's also Asheville too. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back to that later. You know, just to give y'all an eyes of what it is, because the Kendra Shanice Reid, you know, may she rise in power. You know, we know the Klan got their hands in this. You know, being the white supremacist cowards that they are, or a bunch of racist crackers that they are, they're all cowards in my book. They're all cowards in my book. Now, as far as to go, like with, this is who I was talking about. This is Lennon Lacy. You know, in case nobody ain't know who I'm talking about. This is the 17-year-old brother here that was found hung on this swing right here in the middle of a trailer park, and where I showed y'all at, right here in Bladenboro, North Carolina. See, this is Bladenboro right there. That's just a street here, but as you can see, there's nothing much there. Look at that. You got places there, man, that's out of business. You know, because, see, Bladenboro is mostly like predominantly white, and that's the reason why it's nicknamed. Any black person that stays there can tell you that this is why they call it Cracker Town. And rightfully so. With only a population of 1,726 according to the 2015 but 2010 Census Bureau. That's what it's called. you know. That's what it's called right there. But now the lady there that you see in the picture happens to be his so-called quote-unquote girlfriend. At the time she was 32, but now she's 34. Michelle, what's her face? Let me just go ahead. I'm gonna just sorry about that. Get into the story here. As I was talking about. That bitch set him up. That bitch set him up. You know. She set him up. And this is just coming from there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read it right here. You know. Let's see if I can get this up here. You know, exclusive, you know, white girlfriend, 31 at the time. Now she's 34. Good, this happened a while back. 31, but actually got this wrong. She's 32. Of Lynch, 17-year-old Lennon Lacy says she believed their relationship led to his murder and reveals she was warned not to date a black man in Cracker Town. I told y'all. Okay, let's just get into it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna just break it down and tell you the lies you're talking about. I mean, the older white girlfriend of a hanged black teenager believes he may have been murdered by racists because of their interracial affair, she has told Daily Mail. Lennon Lacy, 17, was found hanging from a swing set in the predominantly white town of Bladenboro, North Carolina in August of last year. Which wasn't last year, that was back and yeah, it was last year. I'm sorry. Yeah, his death was initially determined by police to be suicide, but is now being investigated by the FBI as a possible lynching. Today, the teenager's girlfriend, 32-year-old mother of 3, she had kids. Okay, I didn't know that. told the Daily Mail that she was convinced he had been murdered. Michelle Brimhall revealed how she had been targeted by racists during their relationship, and now is doing the usual, fled the town for her own safety. Yeah, that's kind of brilliant to go ahead and flee the town after you set the whole thing up. As you can see, that's Michelle Brimhall right here. This is Lennon Lacy, promising 17-year-old kid, and this was the swing set where he was hung from. And now take a look. I'm gonna get to that later. Now, Lacy's death has become the focus for campaigners in the wakes of deaths at the hands of police of a series of black men and boys growing concern over police relations with African Americans across the U.S. Brimhall has now decided to break her silence over the death to back his family's belief that he did not commit suicide. Speaking exclusively to DailyMail.com, she said, "I believe Lennon was murdered. The police ruled his death as suicide, but Lennon would never harm himself. He's got too much love for life." Her intervention comes in the wake of the NAACP and other organizations highlighting the death and its investigations. And after the teenager's grave, and his grave was desecrated. I told you. See, this the nasty thing. See, crackers do. So I'm saying, the typical feces throwing, knuckle dragging, hair back, non-bathing, flea and tick infested, rhesus RH chromosome, rhesus monkey DNA strained, troglodyte caucasoids. That's all they're no good. That's all they're good for. They are the new niggers. They always have been. So there ain't nothing human about them. Let's continue. Until now, she has not detailed her relationship with the dead teenager. But speaking in the town where she had moved to get away from Bladenboro, Brimhall spoke of how they had planned a future together, despite the age gap, and how he had a life in front of him which showed he would not commit suicide. How they planned a future together. Girl, you 34. That boy was 17. Alright, stop it. They became a couple after she moved to the small town following the breakdown of her marriage earlier this year. Now, here's some more stuff I didn't know. Now, she had previously lived in nearby Fayetteville with her now estranged husband, who is from North Carolina and longed to return to the good weather of the South. Now here's a picture of Lennon Lacy right here. Now, it wasn't no suicide or nothing like that. He was lynched. I mean, he's doing just like any other 17-year-old adolescent, 17-year-old boy to these white supremacists who think he's a man. Because, they always want to peg, sorry about that. They always want to peg, 17-year-olds, 12-year-old black boys as being men, But when it comes down to somebody white doing it, I don't know why this happened. Hold on. Freaking idiots, man. It's a problem. It's always a goddamn problem. Let me just scroll back down now. Okay. Now that's Claudia Lacy right here. That's the mother of Lennon Lacy, and that's his older brother, which happens to be Larry Lacy. More pictures of Claudia Lacy with picture of holding Lennon, and this is like when they came to his son's grave, and then after his funeral, his funeral was desecrated. And see, no doubt, like North Carolina, like Florida, they too have a selective, a huge segment of Ku Klux Klan chapters and stuff too, because Bladensboro to me is no different than Sanford, Florida, or Port St. Lucie, Florida. You understand? Or Deltona, or any of those places like that. Nothing but just a bunch of racist crackers living up there. And because like, trust me, if I was standing right up there, I'd have kept the damn shotgun right behind the damn door if the crackers would have came to that shit. But let me continue with this. Now, Brimhall said in February, I left my husband Michael, and I left Illinois, and I went to North Carolina. Although 15 years older than Lennon, the short but sparky mother of three. Why do I just keep doing this? I'm gonna get real pissed off in a minute. Yeah, I apologize, people, but this thing's been tripping lately. What I was saying, said she hit it off with the teenager after they were introduced through friends. They became neighbors, living across the road from each other in a public housing complex. She said, I found everything about Lennon attractive. He was tall, strong, and he acted much older than what he was. He had a very good soul. We talked about everything. He talked about school, his mom and dad, my kids, everything going on in life. We was together every day until I started college and he went back to school. A gifted athlete, Lennon hoped for a career as a professional American football player, and despite the gaping age difference, the pair made plans for a future together. Now, Miss Brimhall said, I wanted Lennon to fulfill his dreams, going to the NFL and play for the Washington Redskins. We had made plans to move to Charlotte after he finished high school, where he could go to school until he can get in the NFL. Now, my kids loved Lennon. Now, however, Now, she became alarmed at racist remarks about her relationship with Lennon by some white people in Bladenboro, particularly two neighbors who had put up a sign around their trailer saying, "Niggers keep out," and flew a Confederate flag, which is the typical white supremacist calling card. Brimhall said neighbors had told me they were against interracial relationships, and it was "quote unquote" not right. Not right me. Supposed to say not right for me being with a black guy. We tried to keep our relationship a secret. We would walk to the store together, but we never held hands or kissed or any of that stuff out in public. Now, it was no secret to anyone in the town, whose population is basically 80% white and 20% black. That's the issue of race runs through it. The black minority have been known to call it Cracker Town for the tension which is always present. I told you. You know, the Ku Klux Klan held marches there. Okay, that's even worse, said Brimhall. Now, they, in reference to the Ku Klux Klan, have a building in a meeting house in Bladenboro, a white building with boarded up windows, and I'm told they still have meetings there. Now, with that in mind, only a handful of people knew about the couple, said Brimhall. She acknowledged that there was also tensions with Lennon's family. The teenager's parents, particularly Claudia Lacy, his mother, did not approve of their relationship and twice confronted Brimhall about it, as she should. You're 31, he's 17. And then on top of that, worse, oh man, let me just get it now. You know, there she is again. That's Michelle Brimhall. Yeah. Anyway, and there's Lennon Lacy again. You know, now does he look like the type that's gonna commit suicide? When he played football for the lineman position for the West Bladen High School Knights and was focused on that. Now, she said, we told his mom and dad that we had stopped seeing each other because they were getting on Adam because of the age difference. Now, Miss Claudia, which is Lennon's mother, did not want to see her son hurt, but I always tried to help him and push forward. Okay, if you want, then, you know, then you should have had respected his mother's wishes, especially in that town. Now, here's where it's getting fishy at. And this is why I say I don't believe nothing that she says. Like that. Now, the relationship cooled when Lennon returned to high school and Miss Brimhall started college at the end of August. She said with me at college, the kids in his school, we did not have very much time together. However, faithfully, she did see him in the early hours of Friday, the 29th of August. Now, Mr. Brimhall said it was a Thursday night. We did not see each other or talk to each other that day, but I saw Lennon sitting on his front porch. A friend came over, and when he left at about 12:30 in the morning, Lennon was not sitting on his porch no more. In fact, he was found hanging from a swing set in a nearby trailer park in the early hours. Remember what I told you, the picture I showed y'all about that? The same trailer park, right here. Right there. Right there. Now, Brimhall said, when I heard it was Lennon, I felt dead inside. I wasn't there anymore. I turned around and started walking. I couldn't breathe. A lot of the days after he died, blurred together because I just locked myself in the house. I would send kids to the school and stay in the house. I knew that they found him hanging. It didn't make any sense. If they beat him up, why did they have to hang him and kill him? Which proved my evidence even more. They said like when they found him, it looked like he'd been in a bar fight. Lennon wouldn't hurt nobody. He didn't do drugs. He didn't mess around with any gangs. He went to school and played football. That's all he did. The initial verdict from the local coroner following the police investigation was that there was no foul play. Here we go again. And the death was declared a suicide by North Carolina's Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Deborah Radish. What if I could tell y'all, I'm going to find out who this woman is, that she's probably in it on the Klan. Because remember, Klan comes there to have meetings there. And they trying to rule it a suicide. But it quickly became clear that the circumstances of his death were at the very least confused. First reports suggest Lennon had been found hanging from a dog leash and his own belt. Now other reports claim the teenager hands had been tied behind his back. Neither report was accurate. Lennon did own a belt similar to the one he was found hanging from, but his mother discovered it days later in her car. So police found no evidence that his hands been tied. Now, however, one inconvenient fact that questions the coroner's verdict of suicide is his shoes. Yeah. Now Lennon was last seen wearing a pair of $130 Air Jordans, wearing some Jordans. He was found wearing a pair of old white running shoes that were 1.5 sizes too small. And I said this a while back. There was no note, no history of suicide attempts, no depressions, none of which rules out teenage suicides, which are more likely to be present than not. But the key inconvenient fact for Brimhall and his family is his passion for football, and the fact that he was due to play the very next day. In fact, it was the start of the season and Lennon had spent much of the summer training for the game, the West Bladen Knights versus the West Columbus Vikings. Now to his family and friends, the idea that he would hang himself only hours before the start of the season is impossible. His mother, Claudia, said he couldn't wait for the game. I had made him concentrate on his schoolwork, but this was going to be his first game back. Nothing was going to stop him. That night he laid out all of his kit for the game the next day. Everything he said he wanted to play. This season has become a starting linebacker. He had become a starting linebacker on the varsity team. Next year, he hoped to earn a scholarship to play football in college and then reach the NFL 4 years later. L.J. Lacy said, I showed him how to train and get strong. He was focused on making the NFL. Nothing was going to stop him making that game. The game was his path to become a pro ball player. Now, Anthony White, Lennon's friend and teammate, added he was really excited to play. Beyond the motivation is a question over the method. Larry Jr., L.J. Lacy claimed it would be impossible for his brother to commit suicide in the way he was supposed to. Now, Mr. Lacy told the Daily Mail, I was the detective for the Lacy family. They, the Bladenboro police, nothing but crackers, were so quick to say it was suicide. Me and my brother Pierre Lacy, we carried out a reenactment. It could not be done. Lennon's older brother Pierre said the youngster had been put on display. Brimhall said the boy that found Lennon told me he had bruises on his face and it looked like his nose was broke. In other words, it looked like he'd been in a bar fight. The family's lawyer presented this evidence and highlighted inconsistencies in the initial investigation to the district attorney's office. Now, Wilson Lacy's, Lennon's mother cousin, added, "My brother was the last class of school segregation in 1968. Now, the area where Lennon was found, we, as in reference to black people, they were not allowed to walk through there. They would be harassed and made to know that they were not welcome." Proof my point. About Bladenboro, man. Now, see, this is the picture of the belts that they said they found them hanging with as evidence. Now, here's the thing when it comes down to the shoes. Not only they killed him, but they stole his shoes too. And they put these old dusty ass Air Force Ones on them. No shoestrings now. No shoestrings. And then it's they talk about, it's saying like asphyxia, you know, due to hanging. Saying in other words, they try to rule it as being a suicide, you know, which it wasn't. Now, here you got what he said, like the police did not do due diligence. You know, maybe they were short-staffed, but we have an expression here. The dinosaurs, that is the Ku Klux Klan, may be dead, but they have laid their eggs. Now, Wilson Lacy, who was 66, now Lennon's cousin, and the head of the extended Lennox family said, "I don't know what happened, so I wasn't there. But in this town, where a young black boy has been with a white woman, there has never been a good outcome." His mother, Claudia Lacy, added, "It is a murder that has been covered up. The police didn't do their job." Of course they didn't. They was in on it. In a fucking town like that, that's 80% white and 20% black. I swear, I'm so mad about this shit. I mean, Bladenboro just need to be burnt to the ground. Every cracker in that town just need to die, period. See, I want the coroner to explain to me how Lennon did it, and if it was suicide. And if he cannot, I want to know who killed them and why. Worshippers at the Bladenboro First Baptist Church, where the Lacys are pillars of the congregation, supported their family in their bid for justice. I'm gonna show y'all something about one of those people that were that church. Most significantly, the NAACP became involved. That's even worse. They're not gonna do shit. And commissioned an independent pathologist who raised a series of concerns about the police investigation. The experts concluded that the crossbeam the noose was attached was too high for the teenager to reach on his own. And then there was no item at the scene that he could have stood on and then kicked away. A letter sent by the NAACP to police, prosecutors, and the FBI notes race-based animus towards Lennon Lacy and his family. Local NAACP branch president, Reverend William Barber Jr., this guy, oh man, look here, added Lennon was involved in an interracial relationship. He said there has been concerns in that community of some who have raised their dislike to that. Disturbingly, as the campaign grew momentum in mid-September, Lennon's grave was desecrated. Now here you got the picture. This is the apartment complex, if you want to call it that. To me, them look like homes, but see, up in those parts, it's always like that. I stayed up in Hinesville, Georgia for a while, and I know. This is where the Lacy family lives. It's less than a mile from where Lennon Lacy was found hanging. Now you got some. I got some more pictures here. I'm assuming that's the pharmacy, police department, that sort of thing like that. Now, Bladenboro, it's got a population of 1,700. It's a little bit over 1,700. 80% of the population there is white, and 20% of it is black. Which black community they refer to it, and I refer to it. It's called Cracker Town, and rightfully so. Now, the family's campaign culminated in a 900-strong march calls for justice for Lennon throughout the town last week, and their fight has borne some initial fruit. Last week, they finally achieved a breakthrough as the FBI began an investigation into a possibly lynching. Separately, the State Special Bureau's investigation is holding its own inquiry. Now, in a statement, the North Carolina NAACP branch said, the Lacy family asked us to help find the truth. We began our preliminary investigation, which includes hiring an expert pathologist to review the case. Yeah, we got that. Now, after the expert pathologist released a preliminary report, which suggests that the basic protocol for investigating a death scene was not followed by local law enforcement, and which raised many unanswered questions regarding Lennon Lacy's death, the North Carolina NAACP and the Lacy family called upon the FBI to open a federal investigation. After many town hall meetings, news conferences, and a community march through Bladenboro, our demand for a federal investigation was met. Lennon Lacy's death is now being investigated by the FBI as a possible lynching. Bladenboro Police Chief Chris Hunt did not respond to messages seeking comment. Of course, he's a Klansman. What you expect? Now, the North Carolina Special Bureau investigation, which was brought in to investigate Lennon's death on behalf of the district attorney, declined to discuss the inquiry. Yep, they're in on it as well. Special Agent Teresa West said, in order to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation into Lennon Lacy's death, we cannot offer a comment at this time. Of course not, because y'all right in on it. Now, we look forward to discussing this case at the appropriate time. The Special Bureau SBI investigation remains open. Now, Brimhall, however, has left the town, partly in fear and partly amid questions over her status. Now, the reason why? She's been surrounded by claims that she's a drug addict, she's a drug addict. She's a drug addict, and that she was partly the reason for Lennon's death. One theory, which has gained currency in the town, is that the teenager was killed by a love rival, or by Michelle's jealous ex-husband. Remember, she stayed over there like in Fayetteville or somewhere, and moved over to Bladenboro. Now, one rumor had it that she was pregnant with Lennon's child. Now, Brimhall is estranged from her parents, who told one newspaper, which was the New York Daily News, that she was a drug addict. Now, she denied emphatically that she's a drug addict, but did not answer whether she was a drug user. Let me read that again. She denied emphatically that she's a drug addict, but she doesn't address whether she was a drug user. Okay. She says she's not a drug addict, but she's not addressing whether it says she's a drug user. Well, she using drugs. You eventually become a drug addict. Okay. See the trickery in that? Okay. I've heard all those theories. She said, I don't know what happened, but I know my ex-husband would not get the bus down from Illinois to kill my boyfriend, and I'm not pregnant. She also added, I don't like North Carolina's racist history, but I still love the South. But I just wanted to show y'all something real quick. Because I'm going to go here and I'm going to put this link here in the description real fast. Okay. Just do something real quick. I just want to go ahead. I want to show y'all something in regards to that, to that pastor. Okay. I just want to go ahead and just want to show y'all something real quick. Just want to show y'all something very quick. Now this is Claudia Lacy, Lennon's mother, one of the older cousins of them. Now, you see this old Gargamel looking bitch right here? I forgot the bitch name, but she is part of the NAACP legal counsel. And I told y'all, I tell black people all the time, fuck the NAACP. The NAACP was founded by white people, okay? They tell you that W.E.B. Du Bois, not Du Bois, because his name is Dubois, because it's a French name and not a Negro name. You know, founded by white people. That's why I call them the National Assholes Association for the advancement of colored people. Now that's the pastor right there, which happens to be, what's his fucking name? You know, let me get all into this real quick. William Barber Jr. That's him. This guy. Straight coon, man. Because you see how she looking at Claudia Lacy? Because see, that's a typical white spirit, because like I'm saying like that. They want us to get out here to pray and march and all this stuff for justice like that when they kill one of our own and all this stuff like that. Man, I'm not blaming Claudia Lacy. After all, you know, she just lost her son because of him having a May December relationship with some white trash. And because I believe personally, as I finished reading the story to you, I believe Michelle Brimhall set him up. And see, this joker right here, he ain't shit either. That's Barber, that's his name. You know what I'm saying? He a coon pastor, so he just gonna try to go ahead and go along to get along, because see, he getting paid by her. He getting money about her. And see, this is 2017, and this motherfucker's sporting the Jerry curl. So you already know he buck dancing this shit. just heard me read in there that you know, that the Ku Klux Klan, they still hold meetings there. They still hold marches through there. So that's another thing about this. But this is a shady motherfucker. This bitch here, she ain't shit either. I had her name before, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get her name again though. But I'll find out who it is. But my point is this: that what happened to Lennon Lacy and what happened to Kendra Shanice Reid is nothing new. And I just showed y'all a map when it comes down to the state of North Carolina. Okay? There's Lexington and there's Bladenboro. Both are in between the Queen City of Charlotte. You know? This is the thing I'm talking about. But Bladenboro is a piece of shit on the map. No different than it is in Columbus, Georgia, or Sanford, Florida. But then again, this is North Carolina. So therefore, you know, this is the Mason-Dixie line. This is where the Bible Belt begins at. But like I said, I'm going to be continuing to go ahead and follow up on what happened to this young sister, as I have followed up. I'll continue to go ahead and monitor what happened to our young brother Lennon Lacy, you know, because like here's something else that's also peculiar about that. As I mentioned, if he was hung right here in the middle of that fucking trailer park, in other words, aka caves, talking about nobody didn't see nothing. Look at the windows. The windows aimed directly at the swing set. So somebody has saw something. But then, like I said, this is Bladenboro. Bladenboro is a piece of shit on the map. You already seen the streets. You already seen what this place looks like. You already see what this place looks like. You know what I'm saying? There's Lexington right there. You seen the shops, you seen what I saw, but nonetheless, because to me she does look like she been hitting that shit, and I'll bet you any amount of money is heroin. Because see, like Bladenboro, because let's not forget about another brother too, Alfred Wright, who was killed in East Texas, outside of Jasper. You know, same area. Well, back in the 90s, our brother James Byrd was killed by three Klansmen, by three crackers up there. Feet tied to a damn pickup truck and they dragged him. You know, Alfred Wright was found dead too. you know, ear cut off, shirt to his shorts, and they've put crystal meth and all this around his dead body. The one that had people think he was going crazy, and he died due to an overdose of drugs, which basically ain't no black person gonna be messing with no crystal meth. That's white folks shit. Okay, and that's in East Texas. East Texas is no different than it is here, because the fact of the matter that you know, the reason why, because Alfred Wright was involved in an interracial marriage with a white woman, nice looking one at that, you know, and that's something that the white that the Peckerwoods always have this obsession and jealousy when it comes down to masculine black men. You know, two things that they're obsessed with when it comes to us: what we carry, as Professor Black Truth would say, what we carry in our drawers and what we carry in our wallets. But I guarantee you, this isn't over. And black people, y'all better not sleep on neither one of these. Kendra, Reid, Lennon Lacy. Justice will come, but it's not going to be the justice they going to like. Shoot. The spirits of Micah Johnson and Gavin Long will see to that.